We'll start with a seated grounding meditation, then go into movement with yoga, functional movement, joint resiliency, lymphatic shaking, more breath work, and end with a nice long shavasana final relaxation pose. We'll play some crystal singing bowls for you, and yeah, that'll be our class. So let's start seated. This. You can find a comfortable seated position on the ground. Legs crossed, Sukhasana, that's the invitation. You might sit up on top of a block or a blanket with your hips and just let your knees and feet fall down in front. So your hips are slightly tilted forward. Or you can be seated in a chair. And that's just fine. You just want to shift forward a bit so your feet are flat on the ground and so that your back is not touching the back of the chair behind you. You're just seated up tall using your own skeletal structure. Heart comes over hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable for you, or lower to a soft gaze. Not looking at anything in particular, just allowing the eyes to rest. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out through the mouth, shoulders drop away. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, returning to a natural breath's pace. Well, take a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. There might be sounds at a distance, like singing birds or passing traffic. Or the sounds might be coming from within your home. The humming run of a refrigerator or the breath of a pet or partner. Allowing all sounds in all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. And the weight of your hands on your knees. Just get a general sense of how the body feels. And begin to scan the body from head down towards toes. Scanning, checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And today, notice if there's any parts that surprise you and their openness. And use these messages your body gives you to inform your movement practice today. We'll shift that awareness from the body, Annamaya Kosha, to the energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing where you're at in this moment. On a scale of 1 to 10, energetically, 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed, 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And notice your breath. No need to change it. Just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. We'll shift the awareness up to Manomaya Kosha, the mind. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely. And no need to engage. Watch these thoughts arise from a distance. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? And they say that about 90% of our thoughts are recycled from the day before, if you will. And so as we observe the thoughts and we pick up on patterns, we can become more knowledgeable on what the stories we repeat in our heads are. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath. And this time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Good morning, Ben. Hey, cool sword. Morning, Raf. All right. So here we are expanding the breath, still breathing in and out through the nose. Belly expanding, inflating like a balloon on the inhale, and deflating, belly button in towards spine, all squeezing all the air out on the exhale. When we begin our pranayama, our breathing exercise, this month we're working on alternate nostril breathing. and Sanskrit it's called Nadi Shodhana. So first thing is we'll take our hand and just lower the pointer finger and the middle finger. So you're going to be using the thumb and the ring finger for this exercise. Just take a cleansing breath first, in through the nose, audible sigh out the mouth. Then thumb covers right nostril, inhale through left. Release the right nostril, cover left. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Switch. Exhale left. Inhale left. Switch. Exhale right. Inhale right. Switch. Exhale left. Continuing like this, inhale left. We switch at the top of the inhale. And taking your time to get a full inhale and exhale with each cycle. It may take longer than normal since you're just using one nostril at a time. It's a smaller airway to pass air through. Keep the jaw unclenched. Space between the eyebrows relaxed. Right shoulder relaxed. And if your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Next time you exhale out the left nostril, no rush to get there. Let it be your last round. Releasing your hand from your face, releasing any effort from the breath, returning to a natural breath's pace. And just observing any difference that pranayama, that breathing exercise may have made. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, is about calming down the nervous system, taking us out of fight or flight sympathetic mode and into rest and digest parasympathetic mode. We'll bring our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and the thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice, your reason for showing up to class today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You are invited to chant along with me, of course. First a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest, and on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear rolls towards left shoulder. Just gently allowing the head to roll side to side. And the next time the right ear rolls over the right shoulder, bring the right arm up and drop the hand onto the left side of the head. We're not pulling here, just the weight of the arm is going to be enough. Left arm reaches away and gently floats down towards the ground. We're just letting the fingertips graze the floor here, actively reaching at an angle away from the ear. Opening up this space between ear and shoulder, as well as this trapezius muscle. We'll give the head a little nod, yes, just so you can find where that sweetest part of the stretch is on that side of the head. Once you find it, we'll just take a deep breath here, in and out through the nose. Release the hand back down to the lap, chin rolls down through chest, and left ear rolls over left shoulder. Still seated up tall, left hand comes to land on the right side of the head. No need to pull, just the weight of the arm is enough. And right arm reaches away, slowly floating down until fingertips just graze the ground. Actively reaching away, keep this left shoulder relaxed. Give the head a little nod, yes. When you find that point where that deepest or sweetest part of the stretch is, we'll take a deep breath here. Release the hands back down to the lap, chin rolls down through chest. Bring the head up to neutral. And bring the fingers up to the jaw, just below the ears. And bring the fingers out about an inch away. And we'll slide the head side to side. Mindful not to lift and drop the shoulders. We're just letting the head slide. There's no turning the head either. It's still facing forward. Going to the farthest edges of your range of motion. That might just be a centimeter for now, and that's okay. We're keeping the breath going. Just opening up this new pattern of motion for the neck, the cervical spine. Three, two, one. Alright, back to center. Just drop the ear, shoulder to shoulder. Shake that out. We'll go into our neck rolls. We're just going to start from head down to toes today. I'm just turning to the side so you can see the motion, but of course you can still face forward so that you can see what's going on. From shoulders down, we're in complete stillness. Just the head and neck move here, making a circle with the nose. Chin tucks down towards chest and reaching my nose down towards the ground. Forward towards the wall in front, up towards the sky, and back towards the wall behind. Then I bring the chin back in towards chest. So continuing like this, making circular motion in the head and neck. the while breathing deeply. And we'll change directions. Now leading with the chin, it reaches up towards the sky, forward towards the wall in front, down towards the ground, and scoop it back in. Keeping this movement slow and smooth, and the breath deep. Keep it isolated to just your cervical spine, just your neck. Imagine every vertebra in that part of your spine moving freely, smoothly, independently. The last cycle like this. Head comes back to center. And you can just look over left and right shoulder. Shake it out. Alright. Inhale, arms, let's roll the shoulders forward now. So beginning to open up the space between the shoulder blades and the upper back. Roll the shoulders back, opening the space in the chest, collarbones. Alright, coming to stillness in the shoulders. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, we bend over to the right. Left arm reaches over. Let's actually sweep the arm in front and right arm follows. So just big free kind of movement here. Reaching to the side, getting a nice big side bend in here, then a bit of a forward fold as we sweep in front. Really no wrong answers here. Just really want to open up the shoulders today. And we're going to change directions, sweeping over to the left. Right arm reaches as far as you can to the side first, and then sweeps in front. Left arm follows. And the next time the arms are up overhead, we'll take a deep breath in, fingers reach. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you, chest opens towards the side wall. Inhale, back up through center. And exhale to the left. Following the breath, in to rise, out to twist. In to rise, out, twist. Imagine your spine like a spiral staircase. Just got one more to each side here. Back up through center. Elbows bend, hands come to ear height. Let's just wave out the hands, beginning to warm up the hands and wrists, all our ligaments, tendons, and muscles before putting weight on them. Palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. This is some like anti-carpal tunnel movement here too, or kind of undoing or balancing out all those small repetitive movements that we do with the hands all day. Palms flip up towards the sky, really reaching your fingers back. You're trying to get your fingertips to touch your forearm. And you can just do this from a desk chair too. It doesn't have to be part of a yoga practice. It can be part of your regular, throughout your day practice. 1. Just shaking off water. Carpal. Morning, M9. How are you, my friend? 3, 2, 1. All right, great. Let's extend the legs out in front. Wake up the lower body here. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Change directions. Bend in the knees, feet come max distance apart. We drop the knees side to side. Legs far enough apart that when the knees land, they're towards the ground, not stacked on top of one another. We're just waking up the hips here. 2, 1. Next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll bring the hands to frame the right knee and come into a tabletop pose. How are you doing? Good, I hope. I just got here, gotta catch up. Oh, no worries. You are just in time. We're just finishing up our warm-ups. We've got one more variation of movements of the spine to reach all 6 movements. So we got our side bends, our twists in, and now we're gonna do back bends and forward folds. Fingers spread wide below the shoulders, knees below the hips. On an inhale, cow pose, belly drops, hips and chest rise. And exhaling, rounding the spine. Cat pose, chin tucks in towards chest. On the inhale, cow pose, hands pressed down and back, knees pressed down and forward. I'm trying to scrunch the mat together. If I had a mat, my dog can take it. And on the exhale, to get a grip, I'm pressing my hands forward and down, my knees down and back, like I'm trying to rip the mat apart to get a deeper rounding in the spine. So we're following our own breath here. Let the speed of your body be informed by the length of your breath, and to the best of your ability, breathing in and out through the nose. And on your next exhale through cat pose, no rush to get there. Let it be your last, completely squeezing all the air out from the lungs. Belly button pulls in towards spine, pressing into the space between the shoulder blades. And release to neutral tabletop pose. Right arm sweeps up towards the sky. On the exhale, weave it through. We're not going to land, we're just reaching. Inhale, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, reach through, twisting under. And once more, inhale, arm sweeps up towards the sky. Exhale, reach it under. This time we'll land in thread the needle pose, landing the side of the head and the shoulder, right shoulder on the ground. Hips stay over the knees. Don't let the hips come down to the heels. And I'm pressing this bottom arm like a kickstand into the ground. Press this left hand into the ground to bring the left shoulder towards over the right. The shoulders not perfectly over one another, but that's just the direction I'm pressing in. So you can feel a twist in the spine. Option here to bring this bottom hand up overhead. Or you might even play with bringing the back of the hand to the lower back. You can slide it down the other side and even grab onto the inner right thigh. Let's call the half bind. Either variation, whichever variation rather, we're just breathing here, getting a stretch in that right shoulder blade. Release the arm back down, hand in front of the face. Right arm sweeps up towards the sky. And exhale, release that hand down. I'm just going to turn so I can continue to talk towards the mic. Left arm sweeps up towards the sky. And exhale, weave the arm through, reaching. Inhale, arm sweeps up towards the sky. Exhale, reach it through. And last time, inhale, reaching up towards the sky, opening the chest. Exhale, weave the arm through, landing for your thread the needle pose, side of the head and left shoulder land on the ground, hips stay up over the knees, and I'm using this right hand to press into the ground, bringing the shoulder, right shoulder towards over the left shoulder. Really pressing this extended left arm into the ground to find a nice stretch in that shoulder blade. Once again, we have options here for this right hand, can stay in front of the chest, pressing the ground away. Might reach up overhead. You'll feel how the different positionings of the arm change where you feel the stretch. It's not that one's more advanced or better than the other, it's really where in your body feels like the nicest version of the stretch. And one side might be different than the other. The other option is to bring the back of the hand to the lower back, or even slide it down that left side of the body towards the inner left hip or thigh. Using that grip, whichever grip it is, against the ground or against your own body, to keep the chest opening, opening, opening. This bottom left arm pressing into the ground, that stretch, really focused on the left shoulder blade. We've got a deep breath here in our thread the needle pose. And then we're releasing, hand in front of the head. Left arm sweeps up towards the sky. And exhale, release the hand down to the mat. All right. We'll tuck the toes under and sit back on the heels. So we have a toe stretch here. The further back you lean, the deeper the stretch in the feet. The further forward you lean, the less weight on it. Okay, we're going to come into eagle arms. So here we are sitting back. Let's inhale, the arms sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, the right arm sweeps under the left arm. So I'm reaching in opposite directions, like the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. He's like, he went that way. Left elbows on top of right. I let my elbows touch. Backs of the hands come together. Maybe this right hand comes in towards the face and then back forward towards palms together. So we're twisting once or twice. And here, drawing a circle with the elbows. So the rest of the body stays still. And you should feel a pretty deep stretch in your shoulders here at different points. Change direction, so my elbows are squeezing in towards one another, my palms are squeezing in towards one another. I'm just looking for my range of motion with my arms in this position. Okay, releasing the twist, the arms. Let's bring the hands down in front, back to tabletop, untuck the toes. If you kept them tucked that whole time, that's really impressive. I'm just going to tap them out. Okay. Option to come back into a second round with the toes tucked under. If that is like absolutely just not going to be good for you, you're like, I'm good with that. You can work on just sitting with the toes untucked on the shoelace part of the feet. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, the right arm sweeps under the left arm. Nope, the left arm sweeps under the right arm. Okay. So now the right arm is on top and left arm is below. Backs of the hands come together. Remember, you can stay here. Or maybe the left hand comes in towards the nose and then wraps in front. This is called Garudasana arms, so eagle arms. So here we've got this tight grip, the elbows are squeezing together, the palms are squeezing together, or the backs of the hands are squeezing together. And we'll start drawing circles here. So mindful, we're not moving the whole body or anything like that, it's just the elbows drawing this circle, and you're just being mindful of the shoulders. So if you're getting any clicks or cracks or grinding in the shoulders, we're just noticing that. There doesn't have to be a story attached. Like, you get to decide if there's a story attached to that or not. And in this moment, we're just making these observations without judgment. One side most likely will feel different than the last side, right? So this side's going to feel different than the last. Change directions. You're just going at your own speed, because really we're just using this like a reconnaissance mission to notice what's going on in the shoulders. Alright, we've got one more circle here. Unwrap the arms. Eagle circling. Yes, we shall call this eagle circling. Thank you, M9 Easy. Eddie on Facebook. Hi Sammy, have a blessing of a day. Thanks for sharing with us. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Okay, so let's untuck the toes once more. If you've been leaning on them. And let's actually get off the knees now, just because I think we've been on the knees quite a while. Hands come back down onto the ground or onto your mat. If you don't have a dog on your mat right now, toes tuck under, hips press up high. Let's press it back for downward facing dog. So first downward dog of class, possibly of the day. So let's just pedal out the feet here, waking up the backs of the legs. Fingers are spread wide. Head hangs heavy between the hands. So you can give the head a little shake, yes, a little shake. No to release any tension. And then the heels are going to press down towards the ground as the hips press up and back towards where the back wall meets the ceiling. So I'm trying to make this straight line of energy from where my fingertips are pressed into the ground towards where my hips are reaching up and back. I'm working towards straight legs and towards my heels pressing into the ground. Whether they touch or not is irrelevant. That's just the direction that the body is headed. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good morning, I'm back in New York. Oh, you are? I thought you were still in Florida. I hope you had a really great trip. Can't wait to hear all about it. Alright, so here we are, just reaching up and back through the hips and downward facing dog. Got another deep breath here. Let's sweep the right leg up and back behind you. Bend in the knee and stack right hip over left hip. So I'm reaching my knee up towards the sky. Let's do a couple just hip circles here. So they might be small or big, fast or slow. Strong in the arms, building up that strength. Next time, knees up towards the sky. So deep breath here, three-legged dog. Exhale through the nose into tiger's pose. Or either knee comes in towards nose, rounding in the spine like cat pose. Bring the shoulders up over the wrist by coming onto the tiptoes of the left foot. And right foot steps up between the hand. It's okay if it takes more than one step. No worries. Left foot steps up to meet the right. Big toes come to touch. Just a little space between the ankles. And inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale to release your hands down to heart center. Loose. Your time there is numbered. Okay, so Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Eyes follow fingertips. Squeeze the glutes so it's a little tuck in the hips. Right, so the anterior tilt, posterior tilt. If your hips were a teacup, right, like a bowl, T would spill out with the anterior tilt, right, like a Daffy Duck butt, and T would spill out with a rounding. So we want it right in the middle. Glute squeeze to hold that in place. Chest tilts up. Deep breath in, little baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold, little bend in the knees to protect the lower back. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, hands down to the ground. Right foot takes a giant step back. So I'm pressing back through the heel and a bit forward, just rocking back and forth to give that calf a little bit of a stretch. And then I'm really pressing back into that heel, pressing forward through the left heel, like I'm trying to spread the mat apart. And I'll gently release the right knee down to the mat, untuck the toes, left knee's over left ankle. I'm going to press into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. Gently lower it down, press strong into the ground, and gently release. Strong into the ground, gently release. And last time, strong into the ground, so strong that the knees lifted off the ground. Full breath here. And gently release this knee onto the mat. And inhale it up for a little lunge, Anjaneyasana. So I'm still pressing strong into the ground through this back foot, just not so strong that the knees lifted off. Hips are working towards squared, so my left hip, or rather my left hip's pulling back, my right hip slightly pressing forward. An option to bring the arms up overhead, deep breath in, and out. Another breath in, and exhale for a high twist to the left. Left fingertips reaching back, right fingertips reaching forward. Option here to bring the hands to heart center and hook the right elbow with the left knee. Once you've got that hook, you can press the hands into one another to bring the chest towards the hands. So it's like you're bringing your hands to heart center, but really what's moving is the chest as your spine twists. And breathing fully here. Bit of a wrist stretch here too. Kind of intense Anjali Mudra. Shoulders relaxed away from the ear. Last deep breath here. Then, like pressing rewind, we're going to unhook the elbow, release the arms out, back through center. Hands release down to frame the left foot. Right toes tuck under, lift the knee. Drop the heel down to the mat. And then like a reverse cartwheel, the right arm sweeps up, left arm follows for warrior two. So right toes are facing the long side of the mat. Left knee still tracking over the left ankle. Let's inhale. Just extend the legs straight, reaching tall. And exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, extend the leg long. Exhale, warrior two. Now the right hand releases down, back of the hand to the lower back. Left arm reaches up towards the sky, elbow bends, hand comes to the back of the head. So I'm pressing into the body to open my elbows out to the sides. Option to bring the hands in towards one another. It doesn't matter if they grab or not. If they do grab, just mindful that you can still pull your shoulder back. You don't want your upper body hunching forward. We want this to be a shoulder opening position. This is called Gomukhasana, cow-faced arms. So to reach also, you might grab like a hand towel or a bandana to close that gap. But regardless, you're still getting the benefit if you're pressing into the body.
So we're strong in the legs, strong in the breath. Inhale, reverse warrior, bending to the right. Breathe into that right rib cage, the intercostal muscles, the space between the ribs. Back through center, release the arms. Inhale, reverse, and extend the front leg long. Exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. Pivot the back foot, stepping it in maybe 6 inches to a foot or so for our Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. Pyramid pose, there we go. Left hip's drawing back, right hip is pressing forward, working towards getting the hips square to the short end of the mat. So you might just be working towards this leg straightening up. The hands can be down on blocks or the ground itself. You just don't want it on the knee. If you still got a little space to play, you can even lift the toes up off the ground from the left foot. And just let your body drape over that leg. If you're up here and your hands aren't quite reaching the ground, don't stress it. Don't stress about it. That's okay. You can actually bring your legs a little further apart, and that wider angle is going to bring your hands closer to the ground. So the closer your feet are, the further distance you are from the ground. It's a little trigonometry for you. The further your legs are, the closer the distance. It's a little trick. Wherever you're at, you just worried about the stretch in the back of the leg. We just got, actually that was probably enough. So let's just take a deep breath in. And I feel bend in that knee. Let that right foot wiggle back. So now we're in this runner's lunge once more. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. I'm going to bring the toes together to touch. And let the heels fall over to the right. Feet stacking on top of one another. Left arm sweeps up towards the sky. Side plank. Option here to bring the top foot in front. We're pressing the foot into the ground to give the body some stability. Otherwise, you're pressing your hip up towards the sky. We just got a breath here. And on the exhale, hand touches down, back to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, lowering down halfway. Option to release the knees here or toes tuck under for our upward facing dog. Chest pulls through, shoulder blades pull together, squeezing the glutes, tops of the feet press into the ground so hard that the knees stay lifted off the mat. Alternately, your hips, knees, and feet are on the ground for Bhujangasana Cobra pose. In this case, just bring your hands forward a couple inches and keep the elbows bent. It's more like you're dragging your chest forward than lifting your shoulders back. Either variation, we've got a breath here. And let's press it back to child's pose. Big toes come to touch, knees come far apart, and we sink the hips back towards the heels. Arms are pressed forward, and release the forehead onto the ground. You can press the palms into the ground so hard that the elbows stay lifted up off the mat. Full breath in through the nose. Audible sigh out through the mouth. One more breath like that. And then we'll come back to tabletop pose, toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. We're finding that spacing, feet not too close, not too far from the hands. So you're getting an equal stretch in the shoulders by hanging the head heavy, letting the chest be heavy. It's like you're trying to bring your armpits towards the ground. And keep your hips tilted up towards the sky, like you're trying to get your hips to touch where the back wall meets the ceiling. Heels are pressing down towards the ground regardless of if they touch or not. You've got a deep breath here in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Then the left leg sweeps up and back behind you. Bend in the knee, and we're drawing big circles with this left knee. Just a couple hip circles in either direction. Arms stay strong, just building up that strength. And then left hip stacks over right hip, knee reaching towards the sky for three-legged dog. Deep breath in here. And then tiger's pose, round in the spine leg, cat pose, knee comes in towards nose. Belly button pulls out of the way, rolling onto the tiptoes of the right foot, shoulders come up over the wrists, and left foot steps up between the hands. It's okay if it takes more than one step. Right foot steps up to meet the left, big toes come to touch with a little space between the ankles. Inhale to a halfway lift with hands on shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Eyes follow fingertips. Hips slightly tucked. Just the chest reaches up and tilts back for a little baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands on shins. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Left foot takes a giant step back. So you get that distance by giving a nice big bend to the right knee. Once we've stepped back, we just give it a little rock. Forward and back to give the calf a stretch. If you're not feeling a stretch in that calf, just straighten out the leg even more, like you're trying to bring the back of your knee towards the ceiling. Then we'll release the knee gently down to the mat, right knee stacked over right ankle, untuck the left toes, and press the shoelace part of the foot into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. We'll gently lower and lift. Beginning to open up or continuing to open up this front left thigh, hip. Next time you've got the foot pressing the ground so hard that the knee lifts, we'll hold it here for a deep breath, full breath here. Gently release the knee down to the mat. Still a little pressure into the ground through the foot for stability as we come up for our Anjaneyasana low lunge. You can always use your hand on the thigh for stability on your way up. Deep breath in here. And exhale, high twist to the right. Right hand reaches back, left arm reaches forward, like making the letter T. Option here to bring the hands to heart center and hook that left elbow with the right knee. Once you've got the elbow hooked to the outside of the knee, or towards it, we'll press the elbow into the knee to leverage the body into a deeper twist. So I'm pressing into the knee, pulling my right shoulder back and my chest towards hands at heart center. To avoid losing balance, I'm really pressing this back foot into the ground for stability. Strong foundation and base. Breathing fully here, even in the contortion of the twist. One more deep breath here. Then, like pressing rewind, we'll unhook the elbow back through a high twist, back through high lunge, bring the arms to center, and release the hands down to frame the right foot. Left toes tuck under, and bring it up to a runner's lunge, lifting the knee. Drop the left heel to the mat, toes are facing alongside the mat now. Right knee over right ankle, like a reverse cartwheel, left arm sweeps open for warrior two. Keeping that knee over the ankle, pressing to the pinky side edge of the left foot, We'll inhale to extend both legs straight, arms reach up. Exhale, warrior two, bending just into the right knee. Inhale, both legs straighten out. And exhale, just the right knee bends, warrior two. Once more like this. Nice. The legs stay in warrior two. I'm squeezing the glutes and tucking my hips under to help keep these hips open. Left hand releases down, back of the hand to my lower back, and right hand reaches up, palm of my hand to the back of my head. I use this pressure to keep the elbows open, pulling away from one another. Option to bring the hands in towards one another. Maybe they reach, maybe one side reaches and the other doesn't, and that's okay, it's just something to notice. And still we're pressing the elbows back, so no hunching forward with this grip. We keep pulling the elbows back, pressing the hands into the body for leverage. So we're using tension to our advantage here, so it's not always a bad thing, right? So tension, stress, pressure can also be leverage to our benefit. Inhaling reverse warrior, we bend to the left, opening up this whole right side rib cage. Intercostal muscles, that's the space between the ribs. Breathing actively into it, deep lateral stretch. Bring it back through center, release the arms, cartwheel the hands down to the ground, and step the right foot back to plank pose. Big toes come to touch, and we'll drop the heels over to the left, stacking right arm over left arm for a side plank on the other side. Option to have this top leg down, foot pressed into the ground as a variation. If not, we're just pressing this right hip towards the sky. Strong in the arms, stacking the joints helps with the stability and the strength. Full breath here. And that right arm releases down, back to plank pose. Inhale, rolling onto the tiptoes. High plank, and exhale, lower down chaturanga halfway. Feet flip, pressing through for upward facing dog or cobra bhujangasana, either with the feet pressing the ground so hard that the knees stay lifted, knees and hips, or with the hips and thighs pressed into the ground. We walk the hands forward, elbows bend for cobra pose. Either variation, we've got a full breath here, shoulders away from the ears. And then we send the hips back for our child's pose just for a moment. Just reaching forward with the hands, rounding the spine. And then let's roll it up to seated on the heels. Okay. Actually, let's do this. Back to tabletop pose. Apologies, my friends. We're going to tuck the toes under and send the hips up. But we're going to actually just walk the hands back, 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 until we're in a forward fold. Let the feet be nice and wide, like shoulders distance, maybe even mat's distance apart here. Deep breath in, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. So allow the top body to be heavy. You can give your head a nod yes, and a shake no. Knees can be a little or a lot bent here. You can grab opposite elbows for ragdoll, creating a frame for your head. Just give yourself a little rock side to side. Maybe forward and back, making figure eights, really whatever feels good for you here. Just allowing a little forward fold action here, just allowing the top body to round. And then bringing it back to center, release the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. A little bend in the knees rolls you up to stand, and fingers interlace behind the back. So it's just like you're holding your own hand. behind you, or you can grab that towel or bandana to close the gap. And then we're going to slowly bend the knees and roll forward, forward fold. Fists are at the lower back. Once you've gone as far down as you can go, you can bring the arms, the hands up towards the sky and then forward towards the wall in front of you. So I'm really just letting gravity do the work here and just going as far as my arms kind of will go. Not really forcing them into anything. It's an intense stretch even without having to add any weight or pressure. So if you're feeling really tight in your lower back or your hamstrings, just give the knees a bend because we want to focus on giving the shoulders a stretch here. It's like bonus to get a stretch in the rest of it. We don't want to strain the hamstrings or the lower back while we work on the shoulders. So you decide how bent your knees get to be so you can focus this attention on the shoulders. Still breathing here. And bring the hands back down to the lower back. Unlace the fingertips. Let the arms come forward. Bend in the knees to roll all the way back up to stand. Nice. Give yourself a moment just to come upright. And we'll just give it a little shake out. Just beginning to bounce in the whole body for our lymphatic shake. We're lifting and dropping the heels, creating this reverberation, this shaking, jiggling in the body. Just let your whole body naturally jiggle the way it would if you weren't holding back at all. We're releasing tension in the body. Let the shoulders rise and drop, rise and drop. So we're attempting to breathe in and out through the nose for the entire practice, but here, up until now, but here, I invite you to exhale through the mouth, audible exhales, shown to actually help relieve stress and tension. So it's like the opposite of them being rude. In this context, it's not rude at all, it's welcome and encouraged. If you have the energy for a full hop today, of course you can take up space, allow yourself to do so. It's not always that you'll have enough energy to bounce around. So on the days that I do, I always take advantage of that. Just let the shoulders rise and drop, really flop around. So lymphatic shaking, it's all about helping drain the lymphatic system, which relies on movement for proper functioning, helps move toxins out of the body. Naturally, without any crazy teas, doesn't cost any money. Just exercise in general will get you to proper functioning in the lymphatic system. And we just work to get the heart rate of it up in class for these recommended 3 minutes of shaking. It can also help disrupt messages of pain in the nervous system to the brain. So sometimes in our nervous system we get caught in a rut or a continued message of pain or discomfort, and what we really need is a disruption, because there's not really another way to alleviate it if there's nothing actually causing it. It's almost like a misfiring of messaging. All right, just got like 20 seconds left here, so if you feel like stopping, just double time. Shake up hands. 3, 2, 1. All right, just taking a moment here, feeling that tingling, feeling that warmth that we built up, that little prana floating around. Cool. All right, so our next exercise here is called Breath of Joy. It's all about letting go. It's a 4-part breath. 3 inhalations, in through the nose, and a big ha out through the mouth. So it goes inhale, arms sweep up, inhale, arms sweep out, inhale, arms sweep up, and a big ha, arms throw back. We've got about 10 rounds of this. Just mindful that you're far enough away from the wall. That's what happened. Ooh, far enough away from your screen. Sorry, guys. Okay. That's better. In, ha, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha, 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 ha. 3 left if you haven't joined in yet. Now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, feet come nice and wide. Eyes can close. Let's take a moment here just to arrive and observe what was created, taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. Now we pause to observe where that glitter dust settled, what was revealed. Increased heart rate, maybe increased body temperature. But what else shows up for you? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. You can gently blink your eyes open, grab a sip of water, towel off any sweat that might have built up. So we're going to meet back on the ground. If you're there, we will meet you there. And if not, you can come down with me. Stepping to the back of the mat, inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, knees bend deep, 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 so deep. You come down to seated, hands walk behind you. Feet come to touch. Let the knees splay open to the sides. Give them a couple little butterfly flaps out just to let your hips know it's okay that we've arrived here. You can give your feet a little bit of a massage here too, might as well. Let's try to take advantage of these little opportunities. Alright, so here we are in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. We're going to come into our folded variation of that. Oh, am I still on the internet? Maybe? Okay. Grabbing onto the ankles or the shins, using that as leverage to come up nice and tall. Shoulders pull back, deep breath in. And exhale, folding forward, belly, chest, head. Option here to use the grip on the legs to press the elbows into the knees. So I'm pulling my hands in towards my chest and my elbows down towards the ground. So am I pressing my knees towards the ground? Yes. Is my goal to get my knees onto the ground? No. My goal is really just to get to the edge of my flexibility, to like a nice deep stretch in my hips. But I'm not going past any points of pain. I'm going to intensity, yes. But anything that's so intense that it takes your breath away, we're gonna just avoid in class today, in this practice, at least when you're practicing with me. I just don't think that it's worth it. It's really just observing where our bodies are in this moment, bringing some movement, some mindful awareness of where your joints are, gradually building strength, gradually building endurance and flexibility. Sure, but there's no real goal besides present moment awareness. So we're just breathing here, just one more deep breath here. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. We'll bring it back up to seated. Knees come together, and we'll gently roll it back. Give yourself a little rock, side to side. Someone must be at the door. Loose, it's okay. I'll let the knees rock over to the right, stacking left hip over right hip. And the left arm opens up like the letter T. I'm bringing my shoulder towards the ground. So I'm really trying to get the shoulder to make contact with the earth. It's okay if that means the knees don't touch or the knees don't touch the floor. Right hand lands on top of the left knee. I'm not even pulling on it or anything. It's just like the weight just helps ground it down. And then option to look over this extended left arm. So here we are in our Supta Matsyendrasana, our supine spinal twist. We're just using gravity and breath to do the work here. So every exhale is just an opportunity to let something go. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center. We'll gently release the knees over to the left, stacking right hip over left hip. Right arm opens up like the letter T, and I'm pressing this shoulder towards the ground. So really, that's the only effort I'm putting in here is the shoulder pressed into the ground. Left hand lands gently on the right knee. So twists are an integral part of any yoga practice, but really any life practice. If you think about it, how important your spinal health is, and twists are a very important ingredient to spinal health. This position in particular can be really great. It's really quite accessible to anyone. So remember the feeling of the posture. It's not important the shape, like matching your shape to my shape or anything like that. We're just relieving some lower spine, lower back pain. If you suffer from sciatica, this is going to be great to practice before bed, even in bed. Just to get some space in that lumbar spine that lower spine that can often get compressed. Tight from all that hunching over. We'll bring the head back through center, bring the knees back through center, and then just notice, is there any last wiggle or stretch or movement that your body's asking for? It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name or anything like that. You can just move intuitively with the body all day, all class. We tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back, is there anything left? Sometimes often when we ask, it won't answer in words, so don't get too hung up on that. We're just learning that language, building up that line of communication. And as you're ready, we'll make make our way into Shavasana, final relaxation pose. With legs extended down the length of the mat, feet come at least a foot apart, legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides, shoulders tuck underneath the body to support the chest, and arms release down by the sides, palms face open to the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Head comes to land centered, eyes closed if that's comfortable, if not, a soft gaze towards the sky or the ceiling is just fine. If you know laying flat on your back like this brings pain to your lower back, don't put a pillow behind your head or anything like that. Instead, just bend in the knees, allowing the feet to come out to the edges of the mat and drop the knees together. Lift and tuck the hips to gently release them back down, allowing the knees to just stay knocked together, just using gravity for a broken bridge pose. So in broken bridge or corpse pose, Shavasana, or of course if you practice seated or chair yoga, as a couple of you do, of course you're invited to stay seated in your chair for this final meditation. So Shavasana is all about integrating, well, integration in general. Let's see, what color are we up to? Yellow. So we're working on integrating all that we practice in class into muscle memory, into long-term memory. And just like sleeping at night has different levels and brain waves attached to it, so does yoga nidra, which is what the practice that I base our Shavasana practices off of. So just allow yourself to rest heavy here. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose, inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. And every exhale sinks you deeper, heavier into the ground below you, like lead sinking into hot sand. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. Nose and nostrils relax, and gently allowing air to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. Muscles surrounding the ears, the back of the head rest. Upper arms and elbows rest. Forearms and wrists relax. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds, whole hands alive with vibration, whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back rest heavy. Chest and belly naturally rise and fall with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, hips rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Thighs and knees melt away. Shins, calves, and ankles relax. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Even for just one moment, that inner dialogue quieted. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And remember that in yoga, practice makes practice. Gently invite your inhalations to deepen as fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. And every inhale brings your awareness towards the surface of the body as head gently rocks side to side. That feeling of heaviness replaced with a feeling of openness and expansion as arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. You can use that bottom arm as a pillow. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you, bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of twists and other postures and help open up the shoulders and relieve some neck pain. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. Whether you're down on the ground, going through all the asana, all the poses with me, or you're seated in a chair just for the meditations, or you're just lurking for that sweet, sweet sound bath at the end, I do appreciate all of your presence. Your presence does make a difference. Even online, there's still an energetic exchange, believe it or not. Actually, I don't think that's that hard to believe after the year we've had, is it? So I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you. Squeepo, hello friend. Namaste. Oh, that's a cute bunny. So yeah, how's everybody feeling? How was that? Namaste, yeah. Namaste, hey, cool sword. Yeah, I was feeling like a little bit more energy than I have felt this past month or so. I was gonna say past couple days, but really this past month. So yeah, I think that actually trying to get into a groove with a regular routine, or not routine, but time frame in my life has been helping. So I hope that was still follow alongable and accessible. I'm always open to feedback, so of course always feel free to send me a message or a DM or a whisper with suggestions, questions, or commentary. I just got in, but last week, kind of bad. I just got in, but last week, kind of bad. Wait, my class was kind of bad? Oh, you mean energetically? I love your streams though. Oh, okay. Then my energy levels, I'm yeah, I know, you're telling me I was exhausted. No, my life. Oh, okay. I was wow, thank you for your honesty. I'm just humbled by your ability to tell me how you really feel. We're all doing our best, guys. You guys, I taught a lot of bad yoga classes when I first started teaching. I'll say that and I'll admit that.
And I think that's actually like pretty important to hear for people who like just got their teacher trainings or who are certified but haven't started teaching, or people who are going to start teaching anything. It's like, if you're about to start something new, you're probably going to be bad at it, and the only way to get good or not bad at it or okay at it is to get all those like bad drawings out of the way. As I always tell people, like in my drawing classes, I'm like, they're like, oh, whatever I draw is going to be bad. I'm like, good. You just got to get, like, you have a certain number of bad drawings and paintings in your hand, and you just got to get them out. And like, I still draw bad things every once in a while, and I'm just like, damn, 3 decades of work, and I still can't draw this. But it's kind of funny. And, you know, the next one will be better, usually. And teaching like yoga is the same thing. Lefts and rights are really confusing, especially when you're streaming and you have to say everything mirrored. You don't have to, but I think it's less confusing if my right is your right, but really this is my left hand. So that took a little getting used to. I'm sure I still mess it up every once in a while, but everyone's too far away from their keyboards to tell me. In real life class, people would straight up be like, you mean left? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I meant left. I meant right. Okay. That would totally throw me off. Guys, when I first started teaching, I would go home and like cry because it was so bad. But I gotta say, a lot of those people who were in my first classes, years later, were still in my classes and actually did tell me like, you've gotten a lot better. And I'm like, wow, thanks for sticking with me. Luckily, they were all people who like were deep into their practice enough to know how to, how to adjust accordingly. But, you know, we literally are all just doing the best that we can. And, you know, things got better. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, man. All right. So what's everyone else got planned? Should we raid somebody? What are you doing? It's Sunday. It's 10 o'clock. It's even on right now. Ethereal's on. Just playing Counter-Strike. It's a little jagged kind of jumping off point from yoga. Let's see what our friend in Sets and Reps is up to. Sets and Reps. I need to get more onto like art streams here on Twitch, I think. Like just like watching them, because I like watch them, but I don't usually like interact. So I'm like, maybe that would be fun. All right. So people, thanks for hanging out. Ben, hey, cool sword. Much love from me to you. M9 Easy, if you're still here. Kai Buja, I hope your shoulders feel better. And yeah, Sammy Yoga, if you're still here, I love you. All right, thanks, friends. Let's go raid. Thanks, you too. Let's go raid Sets and Reps and say hi to him and remind him that flexibility is an important part to every strength regimen. Just kidding. Let's just see what he's up to. Bye, friends. I'll see you tomorrow and Wednesday, same time, same place on the internet.